I'll start off by saying thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking your time to um, meet with us and to kind of enjoy the set of tools that we're always working hard to provide to you all. I will say that this is the first talk out of a few when it comes to marketing on Facebook and Instagram. This is not something that you can really learn in 1 hour. Anybody can get started, right? You don't need anything to get started. Facebook makes it as easy as it can for anybody to promote on their platform because that's what makes the money, right? So you can start, but to do it properly and to do it responsibly, it might take more than this hour that we have. So do take that into account. And another disclaimer is that this is something that I've been doing for 3 years as part of Cubee and working with other companies that we've come across along the way. We had a lot of mistakes along the way and a lot of successes, and we were actually accepted to the Meta Bootcamp just at the end of last year. So we do have a lot of experience in this, but I only know what I know. So I'm happy to help. We're happy to help with anything that we can, not only through this talk. We are actually offering one-on-one talks after this, so you can schedule a call with me to discuss specific parts of your marketing operations. But regardless, yeah, there are still a lot of things I don't know. And with marketing, there's always some sort of scary guessing game. Even us, when we're marketing right now, we are having a lot of dilemmas of how to approach it. There are a lot of different strategies. It's a huge world and it's kind of scary. So this is my disclaimer. Don't take everything I say as as a religious thing. I'll try to get to the more interesting parts in this talk today, but again, we only have an hour, so we might not end up completing everything. So we will do a next section regardless, because there's always more to talk about. We'll pick up exactly where we left off. And again, I'll remind you, I'll send a link to schedule one-on-one calls with me to specifically go over the way you want to market, what you want to market for, and we'll go over that strategy. Yeah, so starting off, I'll give an overview of what we're going to talk about, and then we'll dive in. Please feel free to interrupt me with any questions you may have. I'd love for it to turn into a conversation rather than just a lecture, because then I don't know if you're engaged or not. Or you can just write questions in the chat, whatever makes you comfortable. So first of all, we're going to talk about what you need to start marketing, which is basically a business account and linking everything. Second, what to be aware of when marketing on Facebook. Then talking about actually building a campaign. So the strategy behind it, the goals of what you want to achieve, which means the conversions that you want to get when you're building a campaign. And then we're going to really dive into the creative, what is a good creative, how to narrow down your audience so you know the right people are seeing your ad, and then how does the whole system work. This is basically the whole flow that I've imagined. Again, please do stop me as we go by. So I'll start by sharing my screen here, and we'll go to our Facebook Ads Manager. Not loading that great right now, I see. All right, we'll start with the Meta Business Suite. So if you don't have a business account either on Facebook and Instagram, this is what we're going to have to start off with. So you cannot market on Facebook if you're just an ordinary person, but it's very, very easy to turn your pages into a business page or a creator page. If you're an artist or a creator page, that's fine as well. On Instagram, you can do it right away. You can take your actual account and turn it into a professional profile. It doesn't cost you any money. It just gives you insights, lets people reach out to you or contact you, gives you a website link, and lets you actually tap into the whole ads world. With Facebook, you actually need a professional account. So you can be a creator and link your Facebook account into something that is more of an ad. But what you would want to do is just open a Facebook page for your business. That Facebook page is actually managed under your profile. So under your private profile, you will see the different business accounts that you can do. Maybe I can log into Facebook here and show you what it looks like on my end. I know many of you do have pages. So I have specifically me. So this is my wife, and my kid had a 1-year-old birthday party yesterday. Yeah, hey, look at that. And underneath it, you have all my shortcuts to all my groups and everything, that all the pages that I manage. So inside this business page, it's actually a one place to access all of that. So once you have a business account and once you have an Instagram account, it's fairly simple to link them together to one business. Because when you advertise on Facebook, you're advertising through one ads manager to both Facebook and Instagram. And sometimes, they have, they're like an octopus, these guys. So they're in some articles, some websites, you can be there, but it's one ad account. So what they ask you to do is to connect both your Facebook and your Instagram. It's really nice, this business suite anyway, because it also lets you manage your inbox, your notifications, your chats all in one place. So I do recommend using it regardless. Let's see if our ads manager wants to come up. Once you go to the ads manager, this is where things kind of start to get a little bit scary and a little bit complicated, because this is where we manage all of our ads. This is all of our ads history. Starting off when we first thought of the Cubee concept and wanted to see if people are actually going to go with it. I think it's like from 2020 even, we have ads here in this ad account. And this is where things get a little bit complicated, and I'm going to dive into what this is in just a minute. But if you're writing down anything, know that you need to have a business account, and that business account needs to have your Instagram and Facebook linked to it. You don't have to have them both, but it's much, much better to advertise when you have both, because your ad might be performing better on Facebook or on Instagram. We don't know that until the algorithm, which is the AI god, just chooses whatever happens with your ads and auctions it off against other ads. We don't know where it's going to perform best, whether it's going to be in a story or in a Facebook post or on the sidebar in a Facebook article. We're not sure, and you want to give it as many options as possible. So make sure both accounts are linked, and then you can go through your business manager. Right, once you have a business manager suite, you can go and actually enter all of your different tools. One of them is your ad account, right? Ads or ads manager. Here's what to beware of most. Anytime you have a professional account on Instagram, anytime you put a post up, it's gonna ask you or offer you to boost your post. This is by far the biggest tourist trap that Facebook has laid for us, because the amount of control that we have when we boost a post, it could work. Sometimes it could really just work, but oftentimes it's actually really, really, really disappointing, and it could really ruin a campaign, and it could really drink out a lot of our money. Facebook, when it comes to advertising, could be your best friend or your worst enemy. We've had thousands of dollars just go down the drain when advertising on Facebook. And we've had some really successful campaigns that really boosted our business and really saved the way that we run. So it's really, really important to take things slowly and to be as careful as possible. And whenever you have a good post, Facebook is going to offer you to boost that post. I suggest you don't do that, because usually we have very little control over who sees it, where it goes, what happens to it. And the ads manager is the place where you want to be in most control and get the most data out of what you advertise. So beware of the boost. That's the second thing that I want to say here. All right. Any questions so far out of what I've just said about your business manager, linking it, opening an ad account, and your boost? Actually, maybe I didn't say this properly. Once you have a business manager, you go to advertising. The first time you're going to open this page, it's going to tell you to create an ad account, which means it's going to ask you for credit card information. It's going to ask you for the accounts. Make sure you have the right accounts that you want to link to this ad account. And it's going to give you an ad account ID, which is this thing right here. When you start collaborating with other people like us and have more than one person, you're going to need that ID, and you need to manage those permissions. But when you're just starting off on your own, it's very, very simple. But again, if you are getting like you're having a hard time manage this, do contact us, and we're happy to help with that. Any questions so far? All right. but I'll assume you still can hear me, right? Mark and Oded, I can see your faces, so you can nod. Perfect. Great. Thanks for the nods. Okay. Getting started with a campaign. So if I create a campaign, I'm going to show you how it works here. The way to do it is there are 3 different parts to building a campaign, and they each interact with 3 different sides of the strategy behind a campaign. If I click create, okay, first things it's going to ask me is my buying type, which auction is what you're going to want to do most. This is because this is how the algorithm of Facebook works. Your ad at any given moment, your post, even if it's not an ad, at any given moment is competing for attention against any other content out there on Facebook. It's an insanely complicated algorithm that at the end of the day takes into account all the different variables that will make people engage with the content and puts it up against other posts that are targeting the same amount of people. So when it's just a normal organic Facebook post, it's people who are following this account or people who might like it. But the monetization of this huge company is from ads. So advertisers, like all of us, are competing in the same pond with huge corporations that are spending millions of dollars, sometimes a day, to promote their products. But there are very different variables, very intricate variables that determine which post will be seen at what time. So even though you're competing against, I don't know, Mercedes-Benz for an ad space on Facebook, there's room for everybody, and Mercedes-Benz are looking for very specific types of people, and they're willing to pay a very specific amount of money for the impression at a very specific time. And that is why sometimes you will win in an auction, but that depends on how much money you spend per ad and how much money you're willing to spend per day. Usually it's a daily budget, and on the types of people and the goals that you're willing to achieve. Yeah, any questions about that, or I'll go into the different campaign objectives that we have here. Okay, so I talked about the 3 different levels of a campaign and the strategy. So the top level is basically, what's your objective of a campaign? You are taking a piece of content that you will create, and hopefully we'll have time to go over what makes a good ad, or what's the most important thing about an ad. And you want people to see it, and you want people to interact with it, right? I think usually we all have the same goal when we're thinking about, okay, let's market. And that goal is, I want $1 in my pocket because of paid money to advertise something, right? This is at the end. But not all campaigns, when we're building them, are built for sales, right? You can have campaigns that are solely built for sales, meaning you're going to show a carousel of products at specific prices. Maybe even I can show you one here that we did a while back. So it's this one, for example. Yeah, so this is a carousel of products that I don't even know if you'll be able to see, of different vases, right? That is basically links to a shop. They have a price. You can look at these different products, and it's basically an e-commerce, completely e-commerce template, right? One of the things you can choose is a carousel, limited collection 3D printed artistic planters made from 100% corn-based recyclable bioplastic, free shipping, right? This is what we wrote here, and it's just 100% intended to sell. But this is not always what we're going to want to do, right? Sometimes we want to grow a community. Sometimes, so what we'll do is create something that that brings engagement. And sometimes we want to just bring traffic to our website. And sometimes we want to test out a campaign and see what works best. Notice that when you're looking to build a sales campaign, it's more complicated and it's much more expensive. To get someone to like your post or to get someone to follow you on Instagram is a whole lot cheaper when it comes to Facebook than to get someone to actually pay you money and for your service. But those are the most highest quality campaigns. Another really high quality campaign is the leads campaign, right? Sometimes, I think maybe Eldar can relate to this. Sometimes we don't want someone to just see a picture, say, oh, I want this, go click, get into a website, read a little bit, and then buy, right? Sometimes what we want to do is to get them to have a conversation with us, right? We did a lot of marketing to plant shops in the United States, for example. So we did a lead generation campaign, which gives you the option to get them to fill out a form and just leave information, or to convert, and we'll talk about conversions and events, which is a whole another word, to become a lead through your website. So to go to your website, read what you have to offer, and leave a note. So for example, this would be a good thing to do when you have a bigger client. So you're not, many of you have clicked on ads that we've created, I'm sure. So let's take that into an example. When we're advertising Get Started for $9, we're offering the basic Hive package for $9 for the first 3 months. We assume that this can be a no-touch funnel, meaning somebody who wants to engage with us, we're going to choose a sales campaign because we want them to go to our website and then maybe talk a little bit or chat with us, but then on their own make up their mind, right, and say, oh yeah, this makes sense. I'll purchase it because I'll try. I'll pay the $9. It's not a huge decision to make. If you are now bringing in a client for a custom-made on-demand job, so you're helping them create a prototype of a product that they'll later be manufacturing thousands of pieces of, and you're part of this design system, and it's a whole intricate thing, and you need to build trust before they even pay you, you don't need a sales campaign. Because you're not going to say, oh, build your own product for just $1,500. Probably they're not going to look at your website and say, oh, I like it. Yeah, sure. Here's my credit card, right? You need to talk to them. You want a video call. You want a physical meeting. You want to go by their business and pitch your story, because this is a bigger sales cycle. This is why you'll need a lead. So another thing that you can do once you're building a campaign is you can narrow down your audience, or you can create a campaign that will create an amount of people, create leads, an amount of people that you can then reach out to, target, have them as a part of your Instagram page, and then once you're in interaction with them through social media, then they will convert into customers. These are all things to take into account in what you are marketing for. So when we do one-on-one calls, we can talk about what campaign is best for you. So for us right now, let's look at the sales campaign as an example. So if I pick a sales campaign and I go continue, what's Facebook going to ask me to do is do this kind of let us take care of business. It's kind of like a miniature. They wanted to make it as easy for me as possible, and they want it to be as automated as possible. But then remember, the more Facebook does, the less you do, the more control Facebook has over you. I usually do manual campaigns because I can control every bit and piece of it, because sometimes I don't want my post to be on an Instagram story, I don't know, or anything like that. But an easy way to go is to do just a streamlined, tailored best practice and let them kind of play around with them. Facebook are building an AI that makes campaigns better, and they can sometimes improve our campaigns by letting them do this. So when we're starting off, it's okay to let them do the best practice, because you're still going to go through all the phases that we're going to walk through now. But I'm going to take you through the more complex manual sales campaign just because it breaks up all the different sections for us, and you can go through it. So I will click continue here, right? And let's say for this campaign, I am doing another campaign for CubeePlus. So for the basic Hive, we have some copies that we've some visuals that we've created that we have never used before. So let's use that as a template. So I'll just write here Hive test, right? This is the name of that campaign. And then the most important thing of what you'll want to do in this campaign side is pick two things. One, what is the objective, which we've already picked. This is the first thing you do in the campaign objective. And two, how much money you are going to spend for this campaign. Now, Facebook, they're not gonna always take the exact amount, but the daily budget is the daily budget. So Facebook is gonna do anything within their power to take as much money from you as possible. Be sure of that, which is why it's scary sometimes. But if we're able to find an ad that works with them and that they are willing to, that customers see as something that provides them value, then you will be rewarded. Then the ad will be performing well, and you will be given very, very good feedback. But that's no one promises that, which is the scariest part about advertising with Facebook and Instagram. So they're offering me, they're suggesting $25. You can start with $1 a day, but there's something really important you need to learn. In a second, we're going to talk about what Facebook calculates as a successful campaign. What means that they are happy with the ad, or what means that the customer did what you wanted them to do, and that's called a conversion. So in the next step, which is the ad set, we're going to choose what conversion we're looking for in a campaign. Like, what signal do we want to give to show that a campaign has been successful? The thing is, the more, like everything in Facebook, the more the campaign is deep, like like a sale, an actual purchase, the more expensive it will be. And Facebook has billions of people. I think they're at 1 billion users now. I'm not sure. I think they're almost at 1 billion users. You have so many people to work with. And the one thing that Facebook needs is to learn what type of person will interact with your ad and will be the right one. So I don't know if you know this, but Facebook keeps thousands of data points on each and every one of us. They know us better than we know ourselves if we are regular users. So I'm sure that Facebook can tell me, but like, no one at Facebook can do it because they don't have real human access to that data. But Facebook, that the algorithm god, can tell me better than myself whether I prefer dogs or cats. They know when I see a dog or a cat, which one I'm more likely to stare at for another second rather than just swipe away. And the reason I'm saying all of this is the budget will affect how many people Facebook interacts with, or your ad interacts with, right away. And that affects how quickly Facebook learns the right amount of people, the right type of people that will most likely interact with your ad. It takes the algorithm about 50 conversions to optimize its learning. So for example, if you're like, oh, I'm advertising, you can choose to advertise, and many agencies do this. They come out with an ad, even if it's something super specific. Let's say doorstops, for 3D printed doorstops that are for little girl rooms. So girly doorstops for a kid's room, right? So right off the bat, you only want parents, probably, right? And you only want these parents to be between the ages, okay, so they're probably going to be between the ages of about 28, because their kids already have their own room, and maybe it's even grandmothers. So older, probably women. So they're all these different audience segmentations that I can make, and we're going to talk about audience later. Probably not going to dive too deep into audience in this session. But many agencies say, oh, I'm actually just going to give this content to everyone, have enough budget, and I think I want to target mothers that have, 5-year-old girls, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's grandparents that want to buy this, or maybe it's something that maybe I'm missing something. And then I'm going to let Facebook just show it to everybody and learn on its own without telling me. I'm not going to know, right? I'm going to eventually see, but I'm not going to know enough about these people. But the algorithm will learn who are the best people to show this ad to. And once it does, then it's most optimized. But it needs time, money to make mistakes and to slowly learn. It needs about 50 people to actually convert as successful ad viewers before it knows the type of person that it's going to advertise to. And that's what the daily budget is important. So if you're going to do $1 a day of ads, it might show this ad to, because remember, you're competing, you're bidding against other ads. So it might show this ad to about 5 or 10 people, right? And if you don't have a narrow enough targeting, then, well, you're probably not going to be able, so your ad's is going to only see a very limited amount of people. It's going to take forever for your ad to learn. And if it takes too long for the ad to learn, then it doesn't learn well. Usually Facebook says that they think you should take about a week to learn. And a week to learn means you need about 7 optimizations or 7 conversions per day. They're always pushing you for higher budgets. But even if you go with lower budgets, so if you start with even a $15, $20 a day, it could be a good starting off point for this. Any questions? I know that was a rant about like a bit about audiences and a bit about conversions. So I'm sorry about that, but does that make sense? Are you guys with me?
Well, with you. And I think that Leader have a question in the chat.
Oh, perfect. So I'll read it out loud. How does the campaign objective actually affect the ad shown in real time? What are the differences between them for the end user? Is the Facebook algorithm showing different types of ads to different types of users? Perfect. Okay, so Facebook shows different types of ads to different types of users because some users are considered more valuable than other users, meaning there are people out there who see a Facebook ad, click it, right? They're called clickers. Some of them just click on anything and then go back to Facebook or do whatever. So Facebook's like, oh, I'm going to show it to this person. He's very likely to click. So it's in some cases, and people who are looking to convert link clicks, right? Because they want as many people as possible to click on their ad. By the way, that's not a very good thing we want because we don't really care about clickers. We care about quality clickers. So, so for that example, Facebook tags you as someone who is very likely to click, and then you're worth more. But the real whales in Facebook are people who actually buy. There are people out there who, on a daily basis, or once, twice a week, see something in Facebook, click it, and then buy it. That's a very, very valuable customer because that customer is going to convert. And then Facebook sees that. So the type of objective that you're going for, and that's not only the sales objective, we're going to even go further. It's the specific event that you're aiming to teach the campaign to convert for. Because sometimes to get 50 sales on Facebook could take you, with a $10 a day ad, it could be unrealistic. It could take months to reach 50. So the campaign will never learn. So for you to optimize, you're going to say, oh, wait, I don't want to bring in a sale. I'm going to tell the campaign to bring in somebody who just clicks learn more inside the website. So I want someone to click into my website, and then inside that website, we can click learn more. That's the event that I want. We're going to call it view content, right? There's a Facebook event called view content, and that's the one you're going to optimize for. So then Facebook categorizes you as somebody who is more likely to convert for that. I'm going to read the question again and then see if I've gotten it right. So how does campaign objective actually affect the ad shown in real time? Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's that. I mean, it's just the bidding that you're making. Facebook's always having in their head, oh, this guy is not looking for a click or a view. He's looking for a conversion. So I'm going to show it to someone who will probably convert, not just click or not just follow. And then the second part of the question is, what are the differences between them for the end user? End user doesn't know. The end user has no idea what's the campaign objective. And what it can, you can literally see a poll on Instagram, right? This or that, green or yellow, what's your favorite color? And if you click green, it's going to send you to a link. Or if you click green, it's going to send you to a page. You don't know what's at the end of the day. All you know is that it's a promotion. Yeah, and the answer is 100% yes. Facebook shows different types of ads to different types of people. The more Facebook knows the ad, or the more they learn about the ad, and the more the ad is aiming to reach the right amount of the right person, the more the better the match will be between a user and Facebook. And actually, Facebook eventually gives each ad a score of how much it is valuable to a user. If someone shares your ad, if someone clicks on it, someone comments, someone likes it, if someone spends time on it, these are all things that affect your ad rating and actually make your ad reach more people, evidently, and convert better. Cool. Great, Lido. Any other questions before I continue? Great. So, yeah, so let's say my daily budget is going to be $15 a day, right? And we're going to continue from here to the ad set. So we've established that campaign. We want to reach sales, or sales isn't just money in the bank. Sales is just a general term for, I want a conversion. I want something to happen out of Facebook specifically that will give Facebook the understanding that a conversion was made. So now I'm saying this because we're probably diving into the most complex part of this whole thing, which is the Facebook events. Because you can, and starting off, maybe you should, if you want to build a community, people who are engaged with you, interact with you, you can send people through a Facebook ad to something that is a very simple conversion to your messenger, so that you want people to message with you, right, on Facebook or on Instagram. You can send them to your Instagram page, right, because you just want people to like or follow you, because then this is where, so Cashman Creatives, for example, Mike, you guys create amazing content where you're speaking to the audience. So maybe you just want to find an engaged audience out there that will listen to what you have to say and work with you. And maybe that's enough right now. You don't need somebody to pay right now. You just need a following of people that want to be part of this community. So you can send people there. But when I'm picking a sales campaign, I want to convert, and I want to do it outside of Facebook. I want to send somebody to my website, and in my website, I want them to do something, and that something that they do will signal to Facebook that that a conversion has been made. Now, this used to be before. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Meta versus Apple war, but it's bigger than the Cold War was, I think. This used to be state of the art, like the most amazing thing in advertising history. Why? Because before, you would really never know who you're advertising to, or it's like really hard to tell, right? Small business would take out a billboard somewhere. Who knows who's driving down that highway and if they're relevant or not? Obviously, there are big companies that are doing their best to make sure that that match happens, but most small businesses never have that access. And here, for the first time, I'm talking 10 years back, or the real privacy issue started about 5 years back. Before privacy on the internet was a thing, which is, by the way, privacy is very important. But before it was something that people talked about, then Facebook knew everything about you. They knew exactly where you were going right after you left Facebook. They knew what site you went to. Anyone could put something in their website, so Facebook could be in a constant interaction with, and you knew exactly what user did what on your website, and that's how Facebook learned, which was incredible because that gave small businesses the power with $15 a day, right, which is a lot cheaper than an ad on a TV show or like on a TV slot. With $15 a day, you can reach exactly the right of people, the people that you need, right? And if you're selling 3D printing services, you're not going to take out a billboard probably, because it means you're going to be paying a lot of money for a lot of people that don't need the service to be seen. And here you have an ability to exactly pinpoint a target audience. Now, this broke a little bit because of the whole iOS 14 privacy changes. So basically, Apple is doing a lot of different things to protect the privacy of their users, and this really, really hurts Facebook's algorithm. And Facebook's constantly trying to work around it. And they're creating like new technologies to better learn, but it's a lot harder. There's no longer this, A equals B thing. With Android users, it's still a lot easier, but even for us, when we're marketing right now, we can't always tell if we are how many people actually came from this ad and what they did exactly. It's a more or less situation now, which is unfortunate for the advertiser, but it's important for the user. Yeah, so the way this works usually is that Facebook has a Facebook pixel. When I choose an event, when I choose what will happen, the way I do it is through Facebook pixel. So I'm just going to show you I'm not going to dive into it. We can do it because we don't have a lot of time. But basically, there's another world on Facebook called the Event Manager, right? And it lets you go to your website and simply put or record different events that and mark them as events that you want Facebook to know that something happened. So, for example, subscribe. This is an event that I use when someone goes to CubeePlus and clicks subscribe. So I can do manage event, right? And what Facebook has, it's a very simple tool, open event setup tool, right? And it basically lets me put in the website. So I want CubeePlus here, for example, just to show you how it works, right? So the event manager is going to ask me for this website. When you open an ad, you link your website to this ad. And then this tool opens up and it lets me literally say, oh, when someone clicks get started for $9, it shows view content. But further down, which is what I want to convert to, when someone clicks subscribe, this creates an event called subscribe, right? So I set this up. I can literally click a button and then choose what event can happen once I click it. You mark down from a list of different events, and that's how this works. Right now, well, let's see. Did we lose our? We lost our exemplary campaign. Hopefully, it's still in a test mode. Okay, perfect. So when I choose when I go my ad set, I choose the event that I want to happen. So when I choose my pixel, which is something you have to set up while you're building up your ad manager. You connect the website and you set up your pixel. Facebook walks you through it. There's a support system to walk you through it, and we can help you with it. And then you choose the conversion event. These are all different events that are a part of our website that we've done before or after, but I'm going to choose subscribe. See that that it's warning me. I've got a yellow warning because this is an event that's on my website, meaning that Apple can block some of the people, and I'm not going to see a clear view of everybody who went through the process and clicked it and whatnot. But I'm going to choose the subscribe event, and then I'm going to schedule when this ad's going to start, and then I'm going to reach the most interesting part, which is narrowing down my audience. I don't want to go into this right now because we only have about 10 minutes for this, and I want to talk about actual creative parts and maybe even have time for questions. But generally speaking, this is where you can create a new audience. There's a place, just like I showed you the ads, just like I showed you the event manager. There's also an audience manager as well. So an ad manager can go to a place called audiences, and here you can create audiences, create saved audiences. You can upload CSVs of users that like email lists or people that have registered. So you can like do retargeting. It's a whole world. But when you create an audience, you can basically create a custom audience and say, oh, I want people who have already interacted with my website. Or you can just start narrowing down people through the ad manager itself. Like, for example, saying, I want people living in the US. Right? I want people living, let's say in I want to change it. I want them living in Canada, for example. Let's say Canada. I want to do a Canada, and you can choose literally any town, city. So for many of you, a local campaign might be a little bit better because you want to reach, your local area. You don't want to pay too much for shipping. And when you're promoting locally, then you already have a target audience that is a little bit more defined. You don't want Facebook to go and work with, a lot of different people. Let's say I want to promote throughout the entire Canada. So I have now an estimated audience size of 26 million people, which is a little bit broad. And then let's say I even want to actually add Mexico for some reason as well. So these are two countries that I'm going to target to. And then what's my age group? Let's say you want to give it a broad option, but generally speaking, let's say I want to only target to people that are over the age of 25 because I want them to be out of college or whatever. And I want them to be under the age of 55. This is the age group, and then genders, depending on what you're marketing. If you're marketing, a specific brand or something that is more female oriented, then you can choose a gender or do both. And then the detailed targeting is where it gets really interesting, where you can actually add different interests or demographics that people are interested in. So I can literally do 3D printing. Okay. You guys shouldn't do 3D printing necessarily because many people who are inside this 3D printing group are people who have 3D printers. So if you're, doing on-demand 3D printing services, you might not want to do a 3D printing ad, but you can target people that are interested in home decor, for example. So it's people who are more likely to interact with home decor ideas or interior designs. You could do students. I mean, it's really, the audiences here, it's really, really rich. Again, we can take it offline and do personal talks about how to best define your audience. But as you can see, I've already narrowed down my audience size to about 8 million people, right? If I'm doing a $15 a day ad, my estimated reach is going to be a lot less. In the ad itself is going to kind of show it to me, but I'm going to probably want to narrow down even further. So you can do exclude people who are interested in 3D printing, for example, because I don't want people with 3D printers looking at it. I don't know. Now, okay, I got another million off, and so on and so forth. We want to get this to about 1 million people. This is like if you're doing a $15 a day, about 1 million people target audience. This is a good place to start from. A lot of people, most will never see your ad anyway, but you want to give Facebook like a narrower place to go, or go as broad as possible. And if you're okay with waiting it out, let Facebook show it to as many people as possible and kind of learn on their own. That's another strategy to do it. Next up, once you're done with the ad set and you have all that, you go to creating your creative. This is where you will be adding pictures, right? It's showing me an example of an old ad that we did. Pictures, the ad type, the link you're going to go to, and the text that's going to be a part of this post. Now, I'm not going to go into how to exactly do this because we don't have much time, but I do want to go into the most important parts of the products or the things that you want to add here. So depending on what you want to add, you want to either do a video or a carousel. This is for actual showcasing products that works best for e-commerce, or just something that will catch someone's eye and want them to engage with you. And then this is how you'll add. So this is now showing me a product catalog, because I picked sales, it's showing me a product catalog, but I can go, I want to do manual upload, and I just want to do a post, a creative video or an ad. And then right now I'm at a carousel, but I want to do an image, for example. And let's just add the media just so you can see an example. So let's say we want to add an example of an ad of your 3D print shop before Cubee and after Cubee. So there's a crappy picture and a nice picture of Gazellarda fungus, and I choose the different crop sizes and go on. What do we care about when we are creating an ad? The most important thing in an ad, if I think this is like probably what we'll end with the creative side, and then we'll open up for questions if you have some. But if you want to write something down from this would be it. Like, what's the most important thing about having an ad? The most important thing about an ad when you're doing it on Facebook and Instagram is the first second of it, be it a video of somebody talking or just a picture or the image it sees, and that's called the thumb stopper. We are zombies when we're scrolling down these feeds, right? We don't care. Sometimes we do it to turn off our brains. Half of us are pooping, right? So we're just looking for entertainment. And this image that we see, the word that we see right away, that one thing that we see as soon as this new post comes to our life, and most of these posts just get right out of our brain right away, that one thing that we see has to be a thumb stopper. We have to instinctively, literally, physically stop moving with our thumb because of what we've just seen, right? Which is why so many TikToks have, faces right away of someone, usually somebody beautiful. So if you're not beautiful, I don't know, ask me, I might be able to record because I'm marvelous. But you have these different, or sometimes you see that, time lapses are incredible. People always are magneted by them. They see a time lapse, they stop. Anything that will make somebody stop right away. And the next thing you want to do, so one, thumb stopper. Two, next thing you're gonna want to do is give the value proposition right away. So the first thing that so I'm thinking of a video now that gives you information in a row, but even when it's just an image with text, you want to give somebody, so I haven't added in headline here yet, like what's the primary text, right? But you want to let them know exactly what you are right away. Now, the best performing ads right now are called UGC style, so user generated content style. They don't have to be too fancy. They don't have to look too good. The best ads are very rough cut videos of people talking. It could be you, could be a family member, could be somebody that has used your service. Could be us talking about you. We have no problem creating short videos of us saying nice things about you or your business. And it has to be, the first thing is, what is this? What is this ad for, right? Why should I continue watching this? So we used is your 3D. Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, I'd love to just put my 2 cents or even elaborate on that. Outside of this whole venture, I'm actually a healthcare IT account executive, and I've worked in some marketing and advertising companies like Reminder Media that sell marketing and advertising to entrepreneurs like real estate agents and such. And it's kind of exactly what you're talking about. They call it in my field the straight line approach, in the sense where you almost want to overwhelm your potential customer with emotion, because nothing that they're going to find on Facebook or essentially on our ads, even if it's some handy gadget, aside from a prosthetic for someone who doesn't have a hand, not to make jokes of it, but it's emotional buys. And if you don't emotionally trigger them, whether it be with empathy or excitement or some kind of emotion, then you're not going to get anywhere. And I've been doing exactly like you've said, and I haven't gotten too much traction because, again, I haven't put money into ads. It's just been organic posts and me in front of the camera talking, or me showing my mess ups or processes. But I mean, anything at all to just make a video and talk to people is essentially the end goal. Because like you said, as much as everyone could get a good camera out and do all of these fancy things to make it look as professional as it is, think of yourself on the consumer point of view. How many times are you scrolling through TikTok and you hear someone say something catchy and cool, and you look at the bottom and you realize that it says sponsored, whereas a lot of the other times when you're just scrolling and you're finding something that actually intrigues you, that was by chance, not necessarily algorithm, or I don't want to say algorithm, but not forced down your throat by ads. So creating organic and goofy or just personal content where someone could see themselves being you and realize that you're just another person is super crucial.
Yes. Yeah. And this connects with the next points of the ads and what's important about them. So if the first thing or the most important thing that you're going to want to bring in is thumb stopper, and then the value proposition right away, right? The next thing you want to do is break down barriers. When you see an ad, most people are not stupid. When they see an ad and they understand it's an ad, or when they see some value proposition, okay, here's a service that will help your 3D printing business grow, which is what Cubee is advertising to help with. The first thing you do is you have barriers, right? Oh, wait, I've tried services like this before. I've been on 3D hubs and it never worked. I'm already paying subscriptions to commercial license of other products. What are all these different immediate instinctive things that make people say, oh, okay, I don't need this, I'm going to swipe forward. Right? Most people that see your ad are, no matter what, even the best performing ads, they're just going to swipe next, right? So what are these barriers? The next thing you're going to want to show is something that breaks down the barriers. If it's just an image, it's going to be the text. So someone's going to learn more like, oh, what the hell is this? This is probably nothing. They're going to read something, and that text has to break down the barrier there's within them to swipe next. If it's a video, you can say, you know, so if I'm now selling plants, okay, I'm now selling plants to a plant shop. The first thing is you think your plant shop is unique, right? It's going to be a beautiful image of a plant shop with like a really cool things. Like you think your plant shop is unique. So there's a thumb stopper, and there's a question that engages them. It's like a value of understanding, okay, this is something talking about making a plant shop unique, which is what I want if I'm a plant shop owner. And then the next thing, whatever, this is unique, and you see all the different beautiful Cubee products. These are, this is the value proposition. This ad is going to show you something cool, or how to make your plant shop cool. And then my immediate reaction is going to be like, oh, I don't need it. Oh, it's expensive, or whatever. And then you're going to need to break down barriers, right? So, price competitive with import in China. It's locally made. It's eco-friendly. So all these different things are like why this is probably terrible. I'm breaking down my barriers and thinking, okay, this is actually something that I could get behind. Now I'm more approachable. After you break down the barriers, if you have time, then you're going to build trust, right? Building trust is showing testimonials. People show you that they've used this before. So if you're marketing to a plant shop, you can take Cubee's testimonials from plant shops around the world that we've already marketed to, and say, oh, look what this technology and this method did to a shop in New York, right? These are the testimonials that you can use. This is what builds trust. Or we've been for the past 3 years, we've served, customers who've been in the 3D printing business and can bring this high-end solution to your small business at minimal cost, right? Something that say, oh, these people know their stuff, right? And the last thing, not the most important thing, but you cannot end an ad without a call to action. What you need to do right now. Contact us today, click here, learn more, right? Something to bring them to the next stage. Now, the fact that someone clicks on your ad does not mean that you've finished the job. So in the next talk that we'll have, I think I want to go a little bit deeper into audiences and interesting things we can do with audiences, go a little bit deeper into creatives, and last but not least, show you what happens on the other side, because the landing page and your website has to interact with an ad. You can't show an ad to something and then take someone somewhere that is not really where they were intentioned to go. Yeah, any questions for these? I'm going to go over them again. Thumb stopper, right? Value proposition, break down barriers, build trust, call to action. This is what the ad needs to have. If you're going to not have something, it's going to either be the barriers or the building trust. Not every ad can have everything, because sometimes it's just a picture. Yeah. Any questions?
No, I want to say that this is real fluent, and I appreciate it. And it's actually something I'm specialized in terms of marketing and creating content, but actually using the Facebook platform is cool. So this was exactly what I needed, and I appreciate it.
That's great. I'm really happy. Thank you, Pete. Pete says good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So if there's anybody who wants to ask, you can even go into something personal. If you have a specific problem or a specific issue, question, also a good time to open it up. But as I said, we're going to send out a link to do one-on-ones as well, to kind of work personally on whichever stage you're on, whether it's just opening up the ad account or actually building a creative, whatever you feel.
Very cool.
All right.
You know, yeah, I just
Yeah.
quick. I just need to say, because you know I'm a loudmouth New Yorker in Florida, so I'm sorry. I'm always long-winded.
That's awesome.
But,
No, go ahead.
one of the I guess aha moments for me when I was learning sales techniques and such is when I was selling marketing to real estate agents here in Florida and in America. My manager and coach would always come up to me and say, look, if I came to you today and told you that I need $100 from you today, but tomorrow I'll guarantee you $1 million back, no matter whether you have the $100 or you have to call 30 people or crowdfund it or pick up pennies, you're going to find a way to get that $100 to me when I need it, that call to action, because you see so much value in what I'm offering and proposing you that no matter what it takes, you're going to make sure that you fulfill that need and feel like you got yourself a deal, which is also a big part of it. So anything that we're marketing, although you want it to be organic and, you know, somewhat rough in the videos, that that call to action is crucial. And that's just something that I wanted to say to kind of frame the mindset. Like, you picture you trying to sell someone $1 million, but telling them that you need, you know, $100 from them today. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah. I completely get it. I think there's a thin. We always have to kind of right, do the call to action, get people excited, but also remember building the trust right on the other side. If it's too good to be true, people might lose trust. So it's always finding that balance. All right, so yeah, we're actually 10 minutes over. So I really appreciate everybody coming on. I want to thank you so much. Please do message me privately for anything. I know Lidor, you've already messaged me through Discord, so I'll hit you up with an answer. And it was really nice talking to you. I had a great time. Didn't see many of your faces, but I'm sure you guys are all googly-eyed, staring at the screen. Your minds are now open, and all you'll ever do is now start marketing on Facebook. So thank you. It was great.